Alright, last video for the quadratics. Using the quadratic equation. Alright, so as if you haven't memorized enough formulas as already, you have another formula to memorize. But this one has a song, and if you're lucky, I'm going to sing for you. Alright, outcome. We will identify the quadratic equation, identify the purpose of the quadratic equation, and we will use the quadratic equation to calculate the zeros. I also want to call that or the roots. Okay, this is really important. You could hear either word. They both mean the same. So it's either the zeros or the roots. I prefer to say zeros. I know Miss Brown prefers to say roots. Okay, so know that both of those words can be interchanged. Okay, all right, here we go. The quadratic function. You've now seen this, I don't know, hopefully a million times. Write it one more time. Quadratic function. ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, I told you there's also a quadratic equation. I'm going to show you this, and you have to promise not to freak out. Are you ready? Whoa! There it is. Let me move it up for you so you can see. Quadratic equation. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Are you ready for the song? You're ready for the song, I can tell it. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You gotta make it a little rhyme, okay? We'll sing it for you again in class. There it is, the quadratic equation. Write it down. After you have your panic attack, write it down. Ready? Here we go. All right, the quadratic equation. So you need to know what it does. This equation, I should say equation, I shouldn't say function, tells us the x-intercepts for a parabola. So I know that we've learned intercept form, which was a very nice form, and it told us the x-intercepts. Well, you're not always going to be given that form. Okay, you have to know how to find your x-intercepts, your roots, or your zeros a different way. And that is by using this guy. Okay, so again, we're going to be looking at where a parabola hits the x-axis. All right, ignore that for a moment. Here we go. This is an actual quadratic. Okay, I want to put this f of x here first. Okay, because it would be shown like this. It would be your quadratic equals f of x, or you could put the f of x over here. F of x equals that whole quantity. All right. In order to find your roots or your zeros, we need y to be what? Now remember, f of x stands for y, okay? We want our x-intercepts, so y has to be 0. So you set this whole thing equal to 0, all right? Okay, here you go. Now I'm just going to give you a picture to start off with. This is what this one looks like, this quadratic looks like when you graph it. It has this parabola. So my x-intercepts, are they going to be positive or are they going to be negative? They're going to be negative. Now, how many places does a parabola hit the x-axis? How many answers am I going to come up with? I hope you're saying 2, okay? Because it has to go down. If it goes down, it has to come up, okay? All right, you ready? Here it is. First things first, look at that. We have B's, we have A's, and we have C's. Don't we know how to label that? Yes, let's put our A. Who's B? Oops, I grabbed C. There's C. So who's B? B is 5. All right? Get it labeled. Now I'm going to tell you something. Listen real close. There is a lot of math in this. If you have a graphing calculator, get it. Okay? If you have a basic 4-function calculator, I would get that. All right? So pause it right now. Go get your calculator. Okay, you ready? Let's start with the quadratic equation. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You got it? You're going to be singing this tonight, I can tell. Here we go. Now, we've identified b. Who's b? That's 5. We've identified, oh, B again. Oh, that 5 gets used twice. A, who goes in for A? 2. Who goes in for C? 3. Who goes in for A? 2. Rewrite it with no variables, all numbers. Take a minute and do that. There you go. Now, I dropped my x equals. I can add that back real quick, because I should. X equals. Let's make that a little bigger. Okay. Because you really should have good form. X equals all of that. All right. Now, you got to be real careful. Because if you make a mistake right here, this whole thing is messed up. What do you have to do next? Do you see anything that could get cleaned up? Well, I see a couple things. I see this 5 squared. He could get cleaned up. He's an actual number. I see these things. They could be multiplied. And what about here? Can't we do a little multiplication there? Yep. Go ahead and do it. Clean it up. Work straight down your page. Now check me, because you know I make mistakes. Negative 5 plus or minus square root. 5 times 5, 25. I'm okay on that. 2 times 3, that is 6. I'm still okay with that. 2 times 2 is 4. We okay there? This problem, one problem, is going to take up probably half your sheet of paper. All right, what can we clean up now? Who can be put together? All right, we could do a little multiplication here. All right, let's do that first. Pull it down. All right, there it is. Okay. Now, underneath of the radical, the square root sign, what can we do now? How can we clean that up? 25 minus 24. You get square root of 1. Let me make sure you can see that. Oh, yes, you can see that. All right, that's good. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. All right, there he is. Negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 1 all over 4. All right, we are still not done, but I ran out of room on this page. Okay, so I just want you to keep it where it is. That's what we were left with. X is equal to this. Now, you're seeing this plus or minus. We have never seen that before. But I told you, how many times does the parabola hit the x-axis? It hits it 2 times. So we're going to do one with a plus and one with a minus. So from this point, you now have 2 problems. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to write that. Here they are. Pay very close attention. Look at this. Negative 5, we're taking just the plus sign of the square root of 1 over 4. Negative 5, just the minus sign of the square root of 1 over 4. We're going to solve each of them independently. How many answers am I going to end up with now? I'm going to end up with 2. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 2 roots, 2 zeros, whatever you want to say. All right, here we go. Whoopsie, let me show you here. Follow along. What's the square root of 1? It is just 1. Negative 5 plus 1, that is negative 4, divided by 4 is negative 1. So I have one x-intercept, or 1 0, or 1 root at negative 1. Now we have to go over here and do the other one. Where's our other root going to be? All right. Negative 5 minus the square root of 1 over 4. Well, what's the square root of 1? It's 1. Negative 5 minus 1, that gives me negative 6. Bring my 4 over, equals negative 1.5. Those are my 2 roots, my 2 zeros, my 2 x-intercepts, whatever you want to call it. But be familiar with all. That's it. So, let's see if I have a picture. I think I already showed the picture, didn't I? This one, right here. There it is. Negative 1 and negative 1.5. Okay? Those are the 2 spots that this parabola hits the x-axis. Right there. Okay, let me see. Let me make that big. Can you see that? Right there. Those 2 spots. Negative 1 and negative 1.5. All right. That was a lot of work. Ready for another one? Here it is. This is the what? Quadratic function or equation? It is the quadratic function. Good. All right, let's label everybody in the boat first. Okay? A, B, C. There we go. Now, f of x, what do we need y to be? If we're looking for our x-intercepts, y has to be 0. So I would go ahead and take out that f of x and put 0. All right? Whoop, we need that. Do you want me to sing it to you again? All right, I won't. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Plug it in. Plug and chug. You got it? There it is. I want you to pause and see how far you can go on your own. Okay? Be proud. See how far you can go, and then come back. All right, you've done a little bit of work. Now let's check my work, see if I did it right. 6 squared, that became 36. 5 times 1, that was 5. It was 2 times 5, which became 10. All right, now I can still clean this up even more. And you might be jumping ahead. You might be really good. You might say 1 times 5 times 4 and put the whole thing there. I'm okay with that. Okay, here we go. 5 times 4 is 20. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 20 over 10. Who can be cleaned up now? Underneath the radical. 36 minus 20, which is, oh, bugger. Let me get my pen. I don't think this mistake is too bad. Let's see. Oh, no, it's good. No, it's not. 36 minus 20 is 16. So the square root of 16, which is going to give us 4. Dagnabbit. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 16 all over 10. Okay, now again, I've run out of room. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next page, and I'm going to take my pen with me because I know I messed it up on the next page too. All right, here we go. That shouldn't be a 4. What should it be, Miss Sargent? That should be a 16. Okay, so let's put our 16 in there. How many equations do we have at this point? We now have 2. All right, now hold on. Don't look for just a minute. Close your eyes for just a minute. Let me fix this. All right, I fixed it now. Negative 6 plus the square root of 16 divided by 10, and negative 6 minus the square root of 16 all divided by 10. All right. Square root of 16, what did that give us? Not 2. It gave us 4. All right. Divided by 10. Now you go ahead and solve it because I got some mistakes to fix. You solve it. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And that's going to make that, I could leave it as a fraction, but I'm going to put it as a decimal. Negative 0.2. That's one intercept right there. You find the other. You find the other. You go ahead and pause it. I'm going to fix my mistake. Okay? So you go ahead and do that right now. Let's see, square root of 16. Ugh, that was 4. Negative 6 minus 4. That should be 10. Negative 10 divided by 10. What is that? Negative 1. These are my 2 roots, my 2 zeros, my 2 x-intercepts, where the parabola is going to hit the x-axis. Right there. Let's see a picture of that. And there they are. Oh, because I messed those up. Negative, what was this one? 0.2 and negative 1. Now look at my scale. I made sure to show you my scale because this is, I counted by 0.5s. Okay, so that's a half, and so here's my 1, negative 1, and then my 0.2 is over here. Okay, that's why I wanted to show you my scale, because I didn't count by ones, I counted by halves, just to get a really good shot of it. And there it is. There are my 2 roots, my 2 x-intercepts. All right, here you go, folks. Here is a helpful link. Mathsisfun.com for algebra, quadratic equations, graphing. You can look that up. I believe this link had a sliding bar that you could change the intercepts and it would show you a graph of that. I may be referencing something different, but I'm pretty sure that was this one. Helpful link. Go back through this. I can't express to you. Look how easy it is to make a mistake. A little mistake, I messed up right here. And had I done that, all the rest of that would have been incorrect. But we caught it. 36 minus 20 is 16, not 4. All right? And we were able to fix it from there. But look at all that opportunity to make a mistake. Take your time. Be patient. Watch it again if necessary.